Welcome back to episode of Mystery Truth. I am your number one host on the show. It's been a long time since I've done any weird opening, so fucking why not? And it should stop playing the music any time once I hit the YouTube Rumble mute, whatever. Welcome back to an episode of Mystery Truth. I am your number one host on this show. My co-hosts, they're running around the house somewhere. And, well, good morning, Veronica. Good morning, Melania. And, well, that's... yes. Anyway, what we're going to talk about today, we got a lot of shit we want to talk about today that really probably means nothing to most people. Or does. Or you guys are just here because you want to hear something other than, well, you doxed me. Oh, yeah? Yeah? Well, you took money. Oh, I gave them money. Feel bad for me. Grift. You know, that kind of bullshit. We're not here for that. What we are here for, though, is good, wholesome, anti-government. No, we can't say that. You can't say that. I can. Because I am on the watch list. Since we did have that really long intro, there is actually no video to go into today except for the meat and potatoes of what? These are the runners-up. Why am I stuck like that? These are my runner-up videos. Not runner-up videos. These are videos I want to show that typically I wouldn't show. Mainly this guy, because I really like this guy, and I'm not sure if he's big on copywriting, but I know what he's about to talk about today is what I've been experiencing with YouTube since I fucking came up in the YouTube world 3 channels later. And he explains it really well. And what's really funny is I'm going to show you that was the day I got banned last week. I put in a short. So my name was in the algorithm big time and got 3,000 views, right? I get suspended. Man, I can't even get 2 views on a short now. That's fucking weird. But anyway, let's get into JT, and he's going to talk about exactly what been happening to most of us, most conservative, midliners, centrists. This is what happened to us. And YouTube, it's true. We know it is, and there's nothing we can do about it.
Conservative YouTube is compromised, controlled opposition. I said that. Everyone you watch. Am I controlled opposition? Absolutely. We're all controlled, compromised. If you're on social media. Everyone. Let me give you some examples to start with. Have you seen, pick your mega YouTuber. How'd you pick that? You go to their videos and search border. How many border videos have they done in the last 6 months? You look up Russia. How many videos they done in the last 6 months?
Mm-hmm.
You look up, you pick the topic, but those are the ones that come to mind, right? They won't talk about it. Why do they talk about it? They'll talk about Trump. They don't target Kamala.
Oh, I do.
But they're all compromised. Everybody. I may be real granular in my detail here. What do I mean? So YouTube doesn't tell you what we can say. But you kind of have an idea. Like when the Biden administration came out and said, hey, social media companies, get control of your people. We need support for the war in Ukraine.
Yo,
and
what
so
up,
big
dumbass?
YouTubers have agents. They tell them, don't talk about this. Off limits. Absolutely not. Don't have an opinion that deviates from what's allowed.
Yeah, you're not supposed to think.
And so what YouTube does is they suppress people on the right, and so by default, people on the left are amplified. Now, people on the left can say whatever they want. So you come to YouTube, you think, well, it's not mainstream media.
Donald T.
I'm going to get an opinion that's like a normal person's. You and I talk an opinion. But if you're in this long enough and you get any traction, you start realizing, heck, I talk about the border and the videos go nowhere. Good click-through, good retention. They're not shown to anybody. So the big players, mega YouTubers, conservative.
Did they look like
one.
They were actually there to promote Kamala, or were they just there talking points?
They just don't talk about it. They don't do videos on it. Because they realize it's not going anywhere. It's going to get repressed. Or even better, you know there's a topic that's a no-go topic. Like,
I'm going to tell you what, I knew the Havana Syndrome was going to get me. I really did. I just wanted to see if I could push it through. And, well, an hour into my stream, I couldn't.
What's going on in the Middle East right now? You comment on a country, holy shit, you say the wrong thing, even slightly, you could be kicked off the platform. Or even worse, banning's one thing. At least you're dead, right? But putting you in prison, demonetizing you is a whole nother thing.
Kamala don't give shit about veterans. She doesn't. When's the last time she went to visit Arlington Cemetery without having to actually schedule it? When's the last time she laid a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier? She don't care.
So every one of them is compromised.
Policies.
Now the left, I would say, I think Dan Bongino said it best. All Democrats are Democrats. Most Republicans are Democrats. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of grifters. They were Bernie bro before. They worked at a leftist outlet before. Now all of a sudden they're like, hey, I'm about free speech. I'm all about Trump. Now, are they bad people? Absolutely not. They got to make a buck too. But everybody on YouTube, social media, they were all compromised.
Not me.
Has Ben Shapiro done anything about the border recently? You can chime in the comments. I looked through all the mega conservative YouTubers, searched border in Russia with the veteran biker. I'll give him credit. He started looking at it. He's like, wow. Now, are they bad people? No, they're doing it because they know you can't talk about it. So, bright idea for myself is like, this is the game we're in, so why fight the game? So just be complicit with it and just take the beating, right? Morale will improve. The beatings will continue until the morale improves. You see?
That's an army saying or military saying.
So everybody in the right's compromised, controlled opposition, period, end of story. Because if you get off the reservation too much, you're gone. Or they just don't show your stuff to anybody so you don't get any traction. And so people can't see it. And what the left does outstanding, let's use the Andrew Tate model. He's not on the left, but just hear me out for a second. Andrew Tate had an army of people cutting up his clips, posting them everywhere. The left does that at scale. They cut up clips, they post it, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. The right, no. They don't take the time, like, what can I do?
I'm not going to tell you who to vote for, Veronica, but having seen Trump and the way he dealt with our military, considering he was the last president I served under, and then I watched the Biden-Harris administration, and then you see Harris wanting to allow illegal immigrants. It's just weird to me. Fought and defend the country for Americans. But she supports Americans by letting 26 million illegals come across the border. 414,000 criminals. 336,000 missing kids. She doesn't care about anything but her $30 million she's raised since being the president. Or earned. Vice president.
I'm concerned about the border. I watched your video. Well, people watch these videos are kind of in an echo chamber. How do you get in front of people that are on the fence? Because most people, by the time they get their news, a week late, if they even see it. You never see a video about the border, Kamala Harris's border crisis, going viral. Never.
No.
It just doesn't happen. Why?
Joe Biden falling off a bike, though.
It just came out on Fox. All the felons, illegals, criminal violence.
Eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. That goes viral. But nothing important.
They know they let in. It's one thing if they don't catch it, but knowingly let them in, can't talk about it. No way. And you, again, the mega YouTubers never touch it. So what does that tell you?
You're scared.
They're all compromised. They make them bad people? Absolutely not. But the left, they can say what they want, they mean what they want, they get amplified by the default of us getting repressed by the algorithm. And the only way you fight it is to flood social media with clips of people you like. Go to Opus Clips.
If they came to my door and they were trying to spread it, I would listen to them. But I also have questions. So if they gave me a spirited debate, then maybe I still know who I'm voting for. But I just want to see if people are voting for the right, or spreading the word for the right reasons. And yeah, if they told me that she supports vets, I would have a hard time believing that. All right, speaking of Kamala and the border, I bet you. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to get banned. I already got that for a week because of a different syndrome. We're going to talk about the border for about 3 minutes and 34 seconds. So, YouTube, this is for informational purposes. Kamala Harris did visit the border for the first time since she became the vice president of the United States, even though she was the border czar.
So to have the ability for our agents to move laterally
Look,
east to west and respond.
there's nobody around her.
And I think one of the other key things that really is incredibly necessary to talk about is the amount of rescues that we have. So every day, and the agency is often maligned. There's often some vilification. Agents are out there risking their lives every day. There's somewhere hoping out there.
People are so stupid, though, man. Like some of these fucking First Amendment honors. They're just fucking retarded. They're not there for the First Amendment. What up, Gates Wizzle?
Everybody to make those rescues. I think that's one of the key factors. Just really doesn't get talked about. It kind of gets
Well, it's hard to believe Kamala's going to shut down the border when they've got video of her. Granted, I think it's from 2018, 2019. But she says, down, down with deportation, up, up with education, down, down with deportation, up, up with education. It's a true story.
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing that 100%.
This big.
And we do take them down.
I mean, this queen who's playing it.
But it is difficult because you take one out, another one
This
pops
is
up
not
because there's
actually
so
real
much money
fun.
tied up.
You're getting a briefing from this guy. Look at that. That's like 4 financial countries. And she looked like she went to a very obscure portion of the border. I don't know if that has. What is that? Looks like a wall. Why didn't she go to the places without a wall? Go visit El Paso. Go visit Juarez. Not Juarez. Fuck, I can't remember the other one. You should. You really should. All this for like a 5-10 minute walk on the border with only limited number of reporters taking videos and pictures. I don't know. I think as far as tracking, that would have been a good question. That would have been a really good question for those girls. Now, this came out hours before her border visit, and then many hours before her little speech she gave in Douglas, can't remember what state it is, where she basically saying those same things that Republicans blocked a border bill. Donald Trump blocked the border bill, even though he's not president and he has no ability to change anything on those bills. Maybe they blocked the border bill because of the stupid shit you wanted for the FISA courts. But it's okay. Let's hear some current stats from an ICE director.
A disturbing development on the border crisis. Wait until you hear this. The Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States. The letter here tells the tale. Hello, I'm John Roberts in
Terrifying.
Washington. You believe this, Sandra?
Which means they are here. And this is just an unbelievable development. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Good to be with you, John. This is America Reports. Let's get right to Bill Melugin. He's got this news for us. He's live out of Douglas, Arizona
Bill?
right now, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit later this afternoon.
You know what's
Bill,
funny?
the
I
details
believe they're in
of
Cochise County. You know who was created in Cochise County, Arizona? No, I'm not Mexican.
news. What do you have?
Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but
Honestly,
it's a
Donald, I
jaw
can't
dropper to
change
say
it.
the least.
I allow pretty much anything to go through. So it's a YouTube censor, man, not me.
So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who's on this non-detained docket? It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered deported from the country by a judge but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind, this non-detained docket.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said
According to a letter that the
455,
acting director of
425,
ICE just sent to Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, on ICE's non-detained docket, they're currently tracking 425,000 non-citizens who have been convicted of a crime. Of that
Look
number,
at the fucking sexual assault
over
numbers.
13,000 non-citizens have convictions for homicide and are on the non-detained docket, meaning they're roaming the country right now.
This is
On top
happening
of that,
today.
there are another
Well, this report came out yesterday.
15,811 non-citizens convicted of sexual assault who are roaming the country right now on ICE's
And these are just
non-detained.
people that have the reported crimes. How many of these weren't documented? How many of these have committed crimes that didn't show up because places like Venezuela won't send you the reports back, their criminal record?
Docket. It doesn't stop
Which
there.
point in the video?
Those are convictions. The ICE director also says there are currently just under
There you go.
1,900 non-citizens on the non-detained docket who have pending homicide charges who are roaming the country, and another 4,250 non-citizens who have pending sexual assault charges who are roaming the country on the non-detained docket. So people's eyes might be
as
glazing
you
over
can
right
see,
now with
these
all the numbers
motherfuckers
we
are
just
coming
threw at
here.
you. Just
Raping women, raping children, raping a child in front of another child in the middle of a fucking park in New York, raping old elderly women and chopping their bodies up, and then living and squatting in their house. That's not happening at all. That's fake news.
Just to put it in a nutshell right here, what we've learned from the acting ICE director via this letter to Congressman Tony Gonzalez is right now there are over 13,000 illegal aliens convicted of homicide who are roaming the United States right now. There are another 15,811 illegal aliens roaming the country right now who have been convicted of sexual assault, and there are
Yo, this
even
could be the
more
shit people
who
are
are
getting
facing
angry
charges
about.
for homicide
For
and
real.
charges for sexual assault. So this just goes to show, guys, the non-detained docket has exploded under the Biden administration to over, I believe it's 7.3 million. They're anticipating it could hit 8 million by the end of the year. But looking at the numbers on this letter right here, there are currently over 600,000 non-citizens on ICE's non-detained docket
fucking
who are
crazy.
either convicted, or 600,000 non-citizens on this non-detained docket who are roaming the country right now. Of that, 425,000 have already been convicted of crimes.
And the others are
222,000 are pending crimes. And again, the most serious crimes we just told you about.
600,000.
Over 13,000 convicted of homicide, over 15,000 convicted of sexual assault. And honestly, that is not a surprise to hear given these horrible headlines we keep seeing popping up in multiple
But
parts
they're
of
not
the
giving
country
out that child
almost
number.
every day now of a horrible sexual
bet-
assault or a
You know
murder
what?
or another violent felony committed by an
When you
illegal
got people
alien
like
who was
Diddy
often
and
caught and
Epstein and all
released from
them,
custody. And the jaw
those
dropper
numbers
here too,
actually
guys,
don't
is
bother
all
them.
these numbers we just rattled off, they don't even account for the nearly 2 million gotaways who have crossed our border under the Biden administration. Those almost 2 million gotaways, they were never encountered by DHS. They snuck in, they were never caught by Border Patrol, they were never encountered by ICE. There's no record of them, so they have nothing to do with the numbers I just rattled off to you. These are just the numbers of people that ICE has already encountered, that Border Patrol has encountered, that DHS knows who they are. And we just saw those horrible stories in Nantucket the other day. ICE ran a week-long operation in Nantucket, and in a single operation in a 48-hour span, they arrested 2 Salvadoran illegal aliens who came into the country as gotaways.
Man, I was watching a news report, and I think it was from this same one. They were talking about, well, maybe not this one, because Martha's Vineyard, that they were raping children in Martha's Vineyard, of all places.
And
why
were
that
arrested
didn't make
for
national
child
news.
rape on Nantucket. They got a Brazilian guy who was arrested for sexually assaulting a Nantucket resident, and then a Guatemalan guy who was previously deported who was arrested for sexually assaulting a Nantucket resident. So we keep seeing all these headlines about migrant crime popping up in different cities all over the country. This right here is the first time we have ever seen specific numbers as to who and what ICE is tracking when it comes to convicted criminals who have crossed the border at some point and are either supposed to be deported or are going through their immigration proceedings, but are not in ICE custody right now and are roaming the country. So I'll ping it back to you guys, but some pretty jaw-dropping numbers that we are still going through as we speak right now.
So, Bill, this letter that was sent from the acting director of ICE to Congressman Tony Gonzalez of Texas, it responds to an inquiry that Gonzalez sent him back in March. I just talked to Gonzalez a moment ago, and he's going to be joining us at the top of our next hour. He's surprised that he ever heard back at all. But what's interesting is in this letter, the acting director says, quote, ICE recognizes that some jurisdictions are concerned that cooperating with federal immigration officials will erode trust with immigrant communities and make it harder for law enforcement to serve those populations. However, sanctuary policies can end up shielding dangerous criminals who often victimize those same communities. I mean, that would appear to be, from the acting director of ICE, a tacit acknowledgement here that sanctuary policies are endangering the public.
100%. And I talk to a lot of ICE contacts pretty much every single day, and that is their biggest frustration. Is all over the country there are these jurisdictions who simply will not cooperate with them, no matter how heinous the crime is. I mean, the Boston ICE office is arresting child rapists and these horrific sexual assaulters, and these local jurisdictions, ICE will put a detainer on them and basically say, hey,
and they'll let them go.
Please hold them in custody. We'll send our guys and we'll pick them up. That way they don't get back into the community. The locals ignore ICE, ignore their detainers, and just release them back onto the street, sometimes with a tiny bond, a few $1,000s for a child rape or an aggravated sexual assault. It makes ICE want to pull their hair out. And you did see that in the ICE director's letter. It is a head nod that, hey, we got to deal with a lot of sanctuary jurisdictions who
and that was the
will
deputy
not
director,
cooperate with us
not the director.
for any reason. And when Kamala Harris visits the border today, if she takes any questions, I'm hoping she does. One of the things I'm hoping to ask her is, back in 2019, she campaigned for president as saying she wants to get rid of all ICE detainers, saying they tear families apart. You know, one of the biggest things we hear from ICE is there's this misconception about them that they're kicking in doors of grandmas and little kids and going after people who are just working and here for a better life. The people they're going after right now are the worst of the worst. We're talking serious felons, murderers, sexual assaulters, rapists, that sort of a thing. And when ICE detainers are not honored and these local jurisdictions just release people back out onto the streets without notifying the feds, it's dangerous for everybody involved. It's dangerous for the local community who might have a sex predator back on their streets. It's dangerous for ICE because instead of having someone just handed over to the jail to them in a secure environment, now ICE has to use their resources to develop intel and try to find this guy and find out where he's going to be, and then use 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of their officers to go apprehend this guy who could be violent. Maybe they'll fight back. Maybe they won't want to go back into federal custody. So it's dangerous for everybody involved. In these sanctuary jurisdictions, you know, it's going to come to a point here soon. Donald Trump is vowing to end them. I had a phone call with him the other day. I said, well, how are you going to end them? What are you going to do? And he said, well, if it comes down to it, I'm going to strip federal funding away from sanctuary cities. I said, well, how far are you willing to go with that? Will you pull FEMA disaster money from them? He said, yes, I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
We don't know where Kamala Harris stands on sanctuary cities right now. I'd love to ask her that today if she takes any questions. We'll find out later. But her running mate, Tim Walz, has advocated for pushing to have Minnesota become a sanctuary state in the past. So these are questions that Kamala Harris's campaign will have to answer about where she stands on sanctuary jurisdictions, detainers. She pledged to get rid of ICE detainers back in 2019. Where does she stand on that now? Has she flip-flopped on that like she has on some of her other border positions? Hopefully we get the chance to ask that, John.
All right, well, we're looking forward to that in the moments ahead. But just to recap the breaking news, 13,000, more than 13,000 convicted criminals across the border illegally have been...
That's our government, man. Our government really cares about us as American citizens or legal immigrants, which I have a lot of experience with legalized immigration through green card status up until citizenship. It's a process. It's a very extensive vetting process. So why can't they just fucking... Hold on. I don't know. I look at immigration a lot different than most people because I'm a product of legal immigration. My wife's a product of legal immigration. So it's stupid, man. They just get handed this fucking... Here, come in, get 10 grand. Not if you come in here legally. Hi, welcome, get a fucking job. Right? See, even Gomez, she went through it, and I'm pretty sure she told you the process. Shit sucks. But the exam is a lot easier than most people think. Don't let them tell you. Anyway, next video. Dude, this is sick. It's a body cam video, and it has to do with sexual assault, but not a child. But what this guy does is fucking gruesome as shit. So, let me get to the point where it's not giving away anything. Is this the same one? Hold on, let me find it.
Wrong. But they were soon to realize that they were actually investigating a case where...
You can go that far. Look at the dead body.
I went too far, guys.
On the night of April 7th...
So, when I initially watched this, like, oh, this dude murdered. Then I looked at the title. And then I looked at it and started watching the video. Bro. These sick motherfuckers are everywhere. And he was drinking. If he could have done this to a 52-year-old woman, imagine if a teenager was in the wrong place at the wrong time at that time. And Mr. Horny McPantsers does his fucking retard shit. So, trigger warning. This does go over such things as, obviously, necrophilia. And I wish I hadn't said that or shown that. But yeah. Y'all ready for this?
And then had the urge to go again. So we went back there and had some more with her.
On the night of April 7th, 2016, a homeless woman was looking for cans in a wooded area in Newport Richey, Florida, when she made a chilling discovery.
So you actually, when you say you walked back in the woods and you saw a dead body, you immediately recognized it was a dead body? Or you actually were you stepped on it or over her or it?
Every time I only walk back to look for more cans, okay?
So you walked back there. The first time you went back there, did you go past where the body was located? You didn't go that far in. Okay.
Second time I went back there, okay? I pulled that limb back, okay? And I started walking back there, and I thought, oh my God. That body, right? Came back.
Okay.
With a homeless camp nearby, the police think that it's a case of homeless altercation gone wrong. But they were soon to realize that they were actually investigating a case where an innocent date turned into a necrophile's murder scene.
So you basically ventured in the first time, got canned, came back out, went back in a little deeper, pulled those branches back, and saw what you thought was a dead body. Did you immediately recognize it as a dead body?
Looked like me.
Okay.
No.
And did you touch anything?
No.
Okay. Did you do anything
Why
at
can
all
those
other than
black?
touch the branch? And then you came back out and you called us.
Pasco County Sheriff detectives interviewed the caller who claimed that the body was beside a shopping mall next to a mobile home community. She was smart enough to run back out immediately so as not to damage the crime scene, and before the detectives could go diving into the wooded area to confirm the body, they were put off by the foul smell that came from its decomposition. Their first order of business was to collect CCTV footage from the nearby Metro PCS store and go door to door in the remote community for possible witnesses.
My name's Deputy Shell with the Sheriff's Office. Listen, we're investigating unfortunately, a dead body that was located in the woods right here. It's pretty badly decomposed. I was wondering if you've seen or heard anything in the past 2 weeks. No. How you doing, sir? My name's Deputy Shell with the Sheriff's Office. We're investigating a death. We located a decomposed body over here in the woods. Have you guys seen or heard anything in the past 2 weeks?
No, a dead body in where?
I don't know if you can hear a dead body.
PCS? No? And, I don't know if they told you what we found.
Oh.
What we found.
In case y'all wondering, I do have a very dark and morbid sense of humor. Dealt with dead bodies a lot. I've dealt with a lot of shit that, most people would probably break down and swallow a whole bottle of Zoloft for. But if I joke, it may offend people, but I don't care. YouTube censors, do your thing.
Found a pretty badly decomposed body in the woods.
Alongside this collection of witness statements, the detectives talked to the owners of the Metro PCS store for surveillance footage of that week, only to find that the store owners had recently changed.
What's up, man?
Hey, do you guys have cameras out back?
Well, honestly, I have no idea. We just took over this store like 4 days ago. So
that sucks.
The employee takes them to the room where the CCTV footage is being recorded, but most of it's erased.
New owners just bought this building on Friday. Everything on the cameras was erased.
In the meantime, a different team of police officers secured the area and
Bro,
cleared the path to the body.
Containers,
their priority
we can build an underground bunker with like a nice one.
To identify the victim and draw initial conclusions about what may have happened.
I actually stayed in a container like that for 3 months when I was in Yusufia. Not Yusufia. Either way, it was in Iraq, and I felt safe. I don't know why. Big container, mortar goes off. I think I'll be fine, right? I mean, I couldn't get fucking internet signal for shit of me. Stupid fucking Brits.
Before I had the booties on, but
okay. Yeah, very well may be a female. Yeah. The panty, it looks like panty.
Yeah.
There's a shopping cart over
And there's the other flip-flop just past her.
Yeah.
So.
It might be. That's like a...
Almost right away, they had a hunch on who this person might be.
I wonder if it's the body is missing female from Newport Richie. I think her name was Pat. Been missing since 2015.
21-year-old Brooklyn Peck was reported missing in October of 2015, just over a mile from this wooded area. And while the police labeled her as an unsolved case, her family never stopped searching for her. At that point, not knowing about Peck's whereabouts hurt them more than knowing the truth. Which is why when this newly found body appeared on the news, they hoped to gain some kind of closure. That is, if it was actually her. The confirmation on whether it was Peck relied on the coroner's report, which would happen after the forensics securely got to the body and took it in for testing.
You want this little branch going? This one?
Yeah, I got it.
I'll cut it.
I'll tell you right now, it wasn't the little girl, the 21-year-old.
It was hard to tell a path that would lead them towards the body. However, judging by the items thrown along the way, the detectives could tell that a path was made from the store.
She may have been a working girl.
There's no
so to
homeless
speak.
encampment.
Dancer or something.
They didn't take the ring, so
Nope.
it had nothing to do with that.
Nope.
Weird, but she has been here a while.
Mm-hmm.
So
Just looking at the position of the body, the arms up, legs, the jewelry still on, the pantyhose.
well, and this is you can see this little area is cleared out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this and it's a little high spot right here.
Right.
That's where homeless people go to hang out, high and dry, and.
Mm-hmm.
After the detectives examined the body closely, they noticed that she still had her jewelry on, suggesting that it wasn't a robbery gone wrong. Her clothes were pulled over her face, and her face was brutally massacred to the point of being unrecognizable. The police also observed her ripped stockings, leading them to suspect that this poor woman was R-worded and murdered. The detectives first thought that it was the body of Brooklyn Peck.
Even he's afraid
But
to
after
say
coming
rape.
deep into her case file, they detected a physical feature that ended her connection to this newfound body. Peck was missing the tip of her pointer finger on her left hand, while the recovered body had the tip intact. The detectives didn't take long to comb through the missing persons reports of the month until they found a positive match for their Jane Doe.
We begin here at 6 with breaking news. A missing Maine woman has been found dead in Florida. Deputies say remains believed to be that of 52-year-old Judy Therianos were found Thursday. They just released the news this afternoon. Therianos was in Florida visiting a friend and had not been seen for nearly a month.
This was 51-year-old Judith Therianos, who was not a resident but a visitor of Newport Richey. She had come with a friend to visit another friend who was suffering from cancer, but unfortunately she never went back. And by the time the detectives ID'd her, they also got a break from the CCTV footage collected on the area canvas. The footage revealed that she was purchasing alcohol in a convenience store nearby while she was accompanied by this man. Now, the top priority is to identify that man, as he was the last person seen with Judith. DNA collected from the scene of the crime led to a dead end. So, this man was not in the system, and the only way to find him is to go door to door asking around the neighborhood. Armed with this description and picture, the detectives went back to the trailer park and banged on as many doors as they could, hoping that someone can give a description on their primary suspect.
I guess I'll start out with you first. We're conducting a death investigation. Right here in this wood line, there's a badly decomposed body that was just found.
Is that what the fuck was stinking back there? I'm telling you, I fucking smell some bad shit back there.
Okay.
Well, then why don't you go check it out? You
It's
stupid
probably the dead body. It looks to be about 2 weeks old. A white male, and he's got a red shopping cart next to him. Have you seen anything in the past 2 weeks?
About 3 weeks ago, I seen there was a white male back there. He had brought like food and shit like that in a shopping cart, and I left him alone because
So you look homeless?
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand homeless and all that, but I left him alone, and after 4 days, I didn't see him. Like, didn't hear nothing from him or anything.
And you just saw him that one time 3 weeks ago?
Yep. Because we were out back walking the dog and we heard somebody, so he came out. I got scared. He came out and looked and said that there's who's back there.
Okay. Yeah. That's probably who it's going to be then. Was he with anybody?
No, it was just him.
Okay. Morning. Hello. You live in lot 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm her mom.
Have you heard the news?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay. Have you seen anything in the past 2 weeks? Heard anything in the past 2 weeks?
No.
Smelled anything in the past 2 weeks?
I did go behind their house to bathe my dog, and it smelled bad, but that's been a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
The fact that everyone gave vague descriptions indicates either that they didn't know what happened or they didn't want to talk to the police. The closest they got was to a man named Grizzly, who not only had information but also evidence supporting the case. He even showed the detectives the bag he left behind, in which they found his blue shirt and shorts, the same ones found in the CCTV footage. But all Grizzly knew was that he was looking to get out of town and bought a ticket to Chicago. He never knew the person's name or identity. And just as the detectives were about to end their search, one of the neighbors named Stephen approached the detectives and told them that he, and I'm quoting, needed some help with the IRS. The detectives were confused at first,
IRS?
But then they picked up on his subliminal message that he wanted to confess something so big that it would break open the case.
Okay. Well, you know where the dollar store is over there? In
Yes.
The liquor store? Yeah. I'm definitely not and he walked with me to get stick right to the liquor store. We came out, and she was on the side of the dollar store. I know leaning against the wall, the dollar store. And
let me stop you. I'm so sorry. When you say you and him, who was that? You and Tim, and then who was leaning on the outside?
Judy. Okay. Well, that's that. And I waved to her. I spoke to her. Couldn't really hold a conversation with her. She was really out there. But I waved to her and he goes, "Who's that?" And I said, "That's Judy. Yes, girl, you warned you to stay away from her." And
let me stop you too. I don't think I asked you this the other day. What did you warn him, and when did you warn him prior to that incident? When did you warn him?
Days before, maybe. And everybody else warned me, stay away from her. She's bad news. She's not right in the head. Bob Nadeau warned him too. And when I said it's Judy, that's the girl we're talking about, he says, "I can handle myself." And he walked towards her, and I just kept walking. I thought nothing of it.
Almost immediately, he named Judith Therianos and the blue shirt-wearing person with her as Timothy Johnson. To him, Tim was a buddy who expressed his intentions towards Therianos, but then all that changed in just 2 hours. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel out a lot. Okay, now back to the video.
And I'm sitting on my porch, and now it's dark. That's why I say maybe it was 6 o'clock, because he came back about 2 hours later. And we were sitting on the porch. He was sitting on the couch, and I was sitting on the chair facing him. And he asked me, "Can I tell you something really bad that I did?" I said, "I guess, unless you killed her." He did what that I did to Judy. I said, "I didn't, unless you killed her." And he goes, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." And I panicked. I got up and I started pacing. Oh my God. I said, oh my God. Yeah, how do you think I feel? You know?
What made you ask him if you killed her?
It was, I don't know. I just, you know, I was telling him, if you told me anything you did bad, unless you killed her, I don't want to know, you know? And he said, "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm in the midst of a freaking murder." And I panicked. And I got up and I started pacing back and forth, saying, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." And he was like, "Yeah, how do you think I feel?" And then he went on to say something about, and I didn't want to hear no more. At that point, I was freaking out. Something about getting a rush from doing it. And I don't know if he meant just her or, you know, if he did it multiple times to other people, I said he get a rush.
Was he just kind of spouting off of the mouth? Was he drunk or what?
No, he wasn't drunk.
And so he was
sober.
It's not just his testimony that matters. It's that he's even presenting the timeline correctly, something only a true witness of the case would know. In fact, he was also witness to the fact that Tim was doing something to her after his dark confession.
And then later on, I don't know if it's that night or the next night, I think it was that night, or the next night, he said, "Yeah, I've been back to the spot 2 times with alcohol." And
did he say what the spot meant?
No. I don't think he actually said the spot. He said, "I've been back there twice with alcohol."
And when you say alcohol, or when he said alcohol, did he meant like drinking alcohol?
Drinking alcohol. I got the total feeling that he meant alcohol to clean up or whatever.
like a peroxide type of a thing, like alcohol, right? Rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
Oh, not drinking.
Not drinking.
No, not drinking alcohol.
Wait, why?
Jessica, have you ever seen him with alcohol then?
Yeah, he drinks.
Okay, have you ever seen him with rubbing alcohol?
No.
That bitch will go
I don't
blind.
know where he got the alcohol. I don't know. No. And
Yeah, when I was a young, dumb
So
private and I
that
was
started-
overseas, I was like, oh, rubbing alcohol. It's got alcohol in it. Motherfucker. As soon as that shit hit my tongue, done. I was spitting that shit the fuck out. That's it. As soon as I tasted that, I was like, no, I'd rather drink Everclear. Which is essentially pretty much close to being the same thing, but I'm glad I was... See, I've tried stupid shit. So I learned from experience. I didn't go blind because, like I said, it tasted so bad. I was like, oh, this gotta be bad.
And that night, now I'm like freaking out. I couldn't really sleep for days.
I remember like it was yesterday. It's fucking crazy.
I sleep with a knife under my pillow. I sleep with my phone right in my hand. And I'm like, and I told him, I blamed it on the management. I said, you can't stay on my porch no more.
Detectives do a background check on Timothy Johnson, and they find that he's been previously arrested 4 times in Florida for aggravated battery, domestic battery, and 2 times for failure to appear in court. Interestingly, one of those aggravated assault arrests took place 3 weeks before Therianos' body was discovered. He was drinking heavily and broke into a woman's home late at night. But more importantly, this meant that he was already in the police's custody. Now that the detectives are armed with witness statements, CCTV footage, and evidence that puts him near the crime scene, the detectives will cut straight to the elephant in the room.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut to the chase because we know that you killed her. Okay? I can just tell you right now. We know that you killed her. We know that you wanted to have sex with her and she probably had consensual sex with her. And that's fine. You totally had some consensual
And
sex.
right now, basically, like honesty is going to be like the best policy because there's a lot of stuff that we know, and we just kind of want to give you the benefit of the doubt of explaining yourself. The lies aren't going to do anything good for you.
What I think happened was
telling
there
us
was
the
a rape
truth.
fantasy that she probably liked to do because she did. She did like to do that kind of thing. And
I had one chick like that. Yo. When I say, never mind. That was an experience.
And then, when you orgasm, sometimes you can do asphyxiation. You know how like asphyxia people, they can, it heightens your orgasm, right? So I know that she was into that as well. So if it's something like that, then if that's what we think it is, so that's not that big of a deal. So that's why we're talking to you. That's why we're asking you about it. So what can you tell us with regards to that?
Yeah, well, I mean, we did have sex, but I don't.
Did you know her for a long time before you had sex?
No.
Okay. All right. There's nothing wrong with you having sex with somebody.
That's what I was about to say. It's consensual. So.
Correct.
How many times did you have sex with her?
Once.
Where at?
It's pretty messed up, but I don't know. I can't recall where I had sex on.
Was it in a car, in a house, outside, in a parking lot?
Outside.
Do you remember where you said it was? Was it around the place that you were staying?
That's got to be a strip mall. There's no way that's a mall.
I remember being next to a dumpster. I remember that.
Okay. What happened?
Just consensual sex. And, I put her up against the dumpster. We had sex. Went our separate ways.
Bro.
Okay. Did you have oral sex, anal sex, just vaginal, penis to vagina? Okay. Did you guys agree to meet up again to maybe drink some more and have sex again, or?
No.
Okay. Well, how did she go? How did she go with you? Did you hang out for a little while and have like after that picture?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me just like what did you guys talk about?
See how she was doing. She was working at Labor Ready, and
Okay.
I asked her if she wanted to have sex, and she said yeah. It was after a couple beers. So, I took a couple Xanax.
Oh, Xannies and alcohol.
Did she take any Xanax?
Not that I know of.
Okay. But not from the same person that you got it from. Okay.
From the evidence, we can tell that what the two did was definitely not consensual. Yet Johnson describes it like any casual encounter. Also, this was a 51-year-old woman, and Johnson was 26 at the time. So what would compel him to do something so heinous to her?
And here's where I'm at with this. I know that you're lying, obviously, to it. And we have information of what happened before this, what happened during it, and what happened afterwards. So your lying to us isn't going to help you out in the long run.
Okay.
We're trying to give you the opportunity to explain what happened, why it happened, without us forcing it out of you. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to give you that benefit of the doubt of saying, hey, here, I fucked up, and here's why.
And there's nothing wrong with doing anything like that at all. It's just that since we do know, and then we know that you're lying, it just makes it so much worse for you that you're lying to me and him. You know what I'm saying? We're not calling you a bad person. We're not calling you a liar. We're just saying that you're lying to us about this incident.
Right, but you also call me a murderer.
Because, Tim, here's what we think happened. We think that during your guys' consensual sex or whatever was going on there, it escalated, and then it turned to the point where you killed her, as opposed to you didn't bring her into the wooded area to kill her.
I think it was an accident, is what I think. Because I'm thinking it was the choking for the orgasm, because that happens all the time. And it wasn't just got overdone. Really. That's really what I think.
But wait, it actually gets worse.
Am I allowed to have my lawyer present?
The thing is, like, he sings to all his cellmates, but he doesn't tell the cops anything. And when his cellmates come to the cops, holy fuck, the bullshit story. Well, from the way the inmates were talking, they don't think it was a bullshit story. And the way the evidence lays out also doesn't seem like a bullshit story. But like I said, it doesn't get any better from here.
If you want to, sure.
Okay. Looks better. Okay.
All right. Very good.
It's interesting how Johnson would rather confide and confess to a neighbor, but not the detectives who have presented almost everything to him. This remains the biggest mystery of this case, because after he is charged for first-degree murder and booked, he confesses the crime, this time with more detail, to his inmates.
The woman's name was Judy or Judith.
Okay.
Okay. He told me he was having sex with her.
Okay.
She wanted him to stop. He said at that time he didn't want to stop. He said he choked her. She passed out. He said at that point he got scared. He pulled her shirt over her head. What I told you the other day, he hit her with some kind of board. I don't know, 2x4, stick, something. He said he took her debit card. This is supposed to be
shit.
On 19. I don't know this area.
Okay.
Newport Richie, maybe.
Yes, sir.
Like
Okay.
that. And there's supposed to be a Waffle House over
Okay.
there. He said he took her debit card, went and ate breakfast, went to another little store and bought beer, and then came back, like I told you what he did after he came back with her.
This part was confirmed later by the CCTV footage from the Waffle House, which showed
Oh, he didn't
Johnson
see
coming
it.
in and
It's
eating
coming out.
alone. The irony is that he paid for the dinner through Therianos' credit card, which further incriminates Johnson. He just sat there eating his dinner like nothing had happened. What's even more sickening is that this dinner took place between the time of murder and the cleanup.
She was telling him to stop. She said she was saying like no, something like that. Stop. And he put his hands around her throat, and I think he caused her to pass out.
Okay.
I think he thinks he killed her at that point.
Okay.
And got scared, pulled her shirt over her head, and bashed her head in on her.
Why did he do the shirt over the head?
I don't know.
Okay.
This same story was supported by multiple inmates who listened to Johnson's confession firsthand, which later became the talk of the pod.
He just that very week. Okay, he took it upon himself to tell me everything. Okay, and I'm like, you know, half the stuff people say in here you don't believe. You know what I mean?
And just before you even move forward, what's the guy's name that you're referring to?
Timothy Johnson. All right, he tells me that he that it was, I don't know how long it was before he came to jail, but he told me like, I think it was like at least 2 weeks prior.
Oh, he did incriminate himself even more.
This lady being found in the field.
Okay.
That he had that they went to, they met on the sidewalk. She was coming from some guy named Charlie's house.
Okay.
Some guy with the long hair, white hair and white beard. She was coming from his house and she was already beat
Not
up.
me.
Okay. So he starts drinking. They start drinking together. He drinks Edge alcohol or whatever, Edge beers, Ice House, and
Ice House.
She goes.
Did they even make Ice House? I mean, who remembers drinking Ice House and Red Dog and Bud Ice and the original Smirnoff?
Buy them a 4-pack of beer. They get to drinking.
Mickey's Green Grenades.
They I guess they talk about having sexual relations, and it's like, okay. I guess I've never lived like that, but this was like a one-time deal or something. So they go out in the field, and they start having sexual relations, and I guess things got a little carried away. You might have been being too rough or something, but she started screaming, "Stop, no, stop," you know. And he panicked. I grabbed her by her throat, put his hands on her throat. And he said he said that turned him on. And he was actually crushing her throat while he was getting it on. Okay? So he said he did that until she quit breathing, and her hands and everything did one of these things, and she stiffened up, and you know, next thing you know, she's dead. So he panicked again. So he put her dress over her head and bashed her brains in. Okay, now he's telling me this. I have to believe it. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, this just sounds far-fetched, right? So I'm like, I asked him. I said, so then what'd you do? He said, well then, I stole her credit card and her laptop, and I threw her laptop in the dumpster, and then I went to the Waffle House and got myself some coffee and something to eat. I was like, well, this is one sadistic dude. He just whacked somebody. Now I just want to get something to eat. So then he's like, I went and got me another 4-pack of beer, and then had the urge to go again. So we went back there and had some more relations with her, and then panicked, went to his friend's house and got a bottle of alcohol and shoved it inside of her and squeezed the alcohol in there, and then held her upside down for a couple seconds because he's a fairly big person, and was trying to get the alcohol down in there, and they left.
Every disgusting detail corroborates with what happened, even the fact that she came from Charlie's house. In the end, the only reason we can see is that this darkly demented monster had some sick, twisted fantasies, and when he wasn't able to have those fulfilled, he assaulted her to get what he wanted. It's good to know that he'll never step foot outside his prison walls ever, but it is sad to see this outcome after his gruesome encounter with the dearly departed Judith Therianos. Now, if you think this case was horrific, well, you need to check out my video on the killer who had no idea he was being recorded.
Fucking morons. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going back to cartoon time. So this cartoon is actually going to lead us into the next segment, which is Piers Morgan Uncensored. So it's going to be an hour long. So if you're still here, you're still here. If you're not, well, I'll be in between. But this will be the first time I listen for more than 5 minutes on the PBD. The Piers Morgan one. I'm saying PBD because Vinny's there. But this cartoon involves Neo and Fab. fabulous. And everyone's least favorite record producer as of right now, and a freak off.
Damn, Neo, they said that? You can only ghostwrite? You too ugly to make music? Yeah, that's what they were telling me. Like, yo, you too ugly to make music. You know, I'm bald and shit. I was like, dang, man. Hey, here, put this on when you talking to me, nigga. Can't concentrate with all that going on you. Oh, shit, I'm sorry. Let me put that on for you. Better? Yeah, that's better. After what we did last night, I got you. Don't worry. I promise you, your career gonna be huge, man. But one thing before I do that, though. There's this one rapper. I've been wanting to party with him for a while, but he keep avoiding me, man. Bring him to me. Oh, of course, Diddy, I got you. Anything for you. Oh, that felt right. Ooh, you heard how you hit that note? Yeah, son. Yo, Fab, what up, man? Yo, this is gonna be a banger, man. Yeah, it is gonna be a banger, son. It is. Yeah. Yo, you know who gave me that hug, right? That was Diddy. You know what? He partying tonight. He got a big party tonight. You should come through. It's gonna be beautiful women. Everybody gonna be there. It'll really help you. Help your career, you know what I mean? I heard he a freak-ass nigga, though. You know what I mean? Nah, he ain't like that. A lot of people say that, but nah, he ain't like that. He just like to party, you know? He really likes to party. I'm gonna introduce you to him, man. You sure? You know what I mean? Shit. I ain't really doing nothing later anyway, so yeah, I mean, we could pop through, you know what I'm saying, and see what it's like. Yo, what up? Neo, Fab, finally got you here, man. Yeah, what up, Diddy, what up? Yeah, come on in, make yourself at home, man. Come here, Fab, have a seat. Right here next to me, Fab. Y'all told me beautiful women was gonna be. There you go. Y'all need something to drink? Hold up. Hey, servant, get over here, man. Yes, master. You want me to pour y'all a bottle of Barack? Yeah, get everybody a cup of that Barack. Yo,
That nigga looks like the
what's
game.
Barack? Oh, that's Ciroc. You know, he blood. He can't say the C's, you know what I mean? Man, damn, you looking good over there, Fab. Damn. I like that outfit. I like how your shoes match your top, my nigga. Damn. Here you go. There you are. Hey, nigga, what you doing? What? Nigga, that's the good stuff, nigga. I ever give you the good stuff for them 2 years you was running with me? Nah, I ain't never get none of it. Put that shit back. Pour it back in the bottle. Get out of here.
Damn, he ran with Diddy and Finny.
I'm gonna go use the bathroom right quick. Bathroom right around the corner, man. Go ahead. Hurry back.
Fucking weird.
What the fuck?
There's drama going on right now?
This nigga like freak ass parties, nigga. I don't want to be.
Did I miss something?
Yo, Fab, what's going on in there? You good in there? Why you taking so long, Fab? What's going on? Beyond a minute. Hold up. You ain't doing no number 2.
It's actually Latin.
Yo, you ain't getting it dirty back there, is you? Yo, baby wipes is on the counter.
Look up Luke 12:51.
Make sure you clean up. Get it real clean. Yeah, give me a quick second. Fuck. Yo, open the door, man. Let me see what you're doing in there. Open the door. Shit, this door. I don't like locked doors around here. I like to see niggas using the bathroom. This bitch. Open the door. Damn. I like to see him run, though.
They get many, many, many more. I guess you have to kind of have that morbid sense of humor. All right, so this last one I'm talking about, this is the Piers Morgan Uncensored, and they're gonna talk about Diddy. Black, whites, liberals, Brits, a beautiful black woman, Vinny, and I think a few more other people show up. But I'm pretty happy that that little fucker Stinson doesn't show up, because every time he shows up, him or what's that other fucking dude? What's the fucking cuck dude that his girl left him? He's got a real faggot name. Destiny. Yeah, I hate it when those cocksuckers show up on here. Did you look it up, Zippity?
Bruce Rivers, let me start with you because you've been getting great traction with your YouTube channel by exploring every part of this scandal. It really does feel that it's getting bigger and bigger and is right up there with Epstein, with Weinstein, with these other
I think he might be bigger than
scandals
Epstein.
we've seen. What do you think is going to happen here?
I think he's going to go to the prison for the rest of his natural life. The federal guidelines are going to be astronomical. There's so much that they've gotten in the search warrant from Miami and LA, and he's really looking at sex trafficking with a lot of aggravating factors.
Which is the most serious for him?
The abuse, the RICO encompasses all the other statutes. So it's the sex trafficking and then all the other enhancements with that. So guidelines, he's probably looking at in excess of 300 months. Those are just the guidelines.
I mean, I saw that he, through his lawyers, they put a bail package proposal that included a $50 million bond co-signed by Combs, his mother, and other family members. It was to include home detention, surrender of his passport, weekly drug tests, a visitor log that would be submitted to pretrial services each night. But that was rejected. I mean, that in itself said to me just how serious the trouble is for Diddy Combs.
Well, you have a situation where this is a presumptive detention situation. In other words, the defense has to rebut the presumption. And while this is all going on, we have witness tampering, we've got potential bribes of witnesses, and then we also have possession of drugs and ammunition and firearms that are obliterated serial numbers.
Key to the city and shit. So they actually had ties, and with all these bribes coming in from, I guess, Turkey and China that Adams was getting. Think they could be tied together in this huge fucking crime syndicate to take, pretty much make the U.S. communism. Control everybody, control the politicians, control the famous people, because you have blackmail evidence, and they do what the powers to be want you to do. Epstein, Weinstein, Diddy. Like I said, there's 3 big names right there, and I know they're not the only ones. Now, who do you trust? You never know. Shit gets ridiculous.
And then he was on his plane trying to go somewhere earlier in the year. So we have a situation where there's a risk of flight and definitely a danger to the public and a potential obstruction of justice.
Let me turn to Esther on this, because Diddy, I met Diddy a few years ago at a party where he was the absolute cock of the walk. This guy was one of the biggest stars in the world, feted by everyone in the room that night, feted by the paparazzi when he came out. It looked like he was as big as it could get. If it's right, if Bruce is right, he's going to prison for the rest of his life.
Is she talking about anything like substantial?
I can remember in entertainment.
Oh, absolutely. But I'm never satisfied with just one person going down. It's like the whole Epstein thing. We don't actually know anyone who was associated with Epstein, who went to his nonce island, who really got involved in the criminal activity. And I think to be P. Diddy, to do the things that he's being accused of, you have to have a whole team around you. It's an infrastructure, basically. And I just really despise the fact that he's probably going to be the only one that's going to be taken down. He didn't get that powerful just by being by himself. He had the support of politicians, of other wealthy benefactors.
There is a suggestion.
So many people in the industry.
Right, but there is
already dropped.
Well, there is a suggestion that he may start talking to the feds and do some kind of deal. Now, Epstein never got the chance to do that or to take that kind of deal, even if he was offered it, because he died, right? He apparently committed suicide. Speculation has run riot ever since somebody got to him, but that appeared to be the fact that he took his life. But that seemed to silence everything and stop the process moving to other people. But here, if Diddy was to suddenly start going after everyone and naming people, and there are tapes, as many people believe, depicting a lot of other people, famous people involved in this stuff, this could get massively bigger very.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I kind of have to cut this short. I definitely mismanaged my time a little bit, but it's okay because, well, when family comes early, I have to come. Whoa. I have to take care of little issues. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, I hope you enjoy the show for today. And I will come back and we will continue this episode or whatever I feel like talking about later because sometimes I just get retarded. But I'm not telling you how to think. I'm just telling you to think. And thanks for joining me.